All right, guys, so we left off for teratogens, which are any harmful agents that can cross the placenta to the baby and potentially harm the baby and causing defects. With our prenatal development, we have several different critical periods. This is in which certain body parts or structures are being developed with that baby. So our brain, our lungs, our heart, our organ systems, even our limb growth can be affected. So we have your most typical, which is your fetal alcohol syndrome. This is when mothers drink while they're pregnant. I know that back in the day, you wasn't uncommon seeing mom walking around with a cocktail in her hand and a cigarette in the other. Obviously, now with the new developments that we've had with science, it has obviously stated that it can cause issues with our babies if we consume alcohol, drugs, cigarettes, anything like that. So your fetal alcohol syndrome is when a baby is born with mental retardation. They may have small head or facial features. The organs are not fully developed, so we see this a lot with your lung and digestive system, and behavioral abnormalities may occur at this point. With our birthing process, we have three different stages. So your first stage is when your uterus starts to contract. This is when your stomach turns into a solid rock, and this is when it's trying to push the baby down, and this is when we actually start to dilate. So your cervix starts to flatten and increase in diameter. So you go from a blueberry into a papaya. This is obviously so the head and shoulders can pass through the canal. So with your stage 2, the fetus makes its way through the vagina into the world. So when you'll see in some of the videos that I will be posting for you guys, the baby actually rotates, goes down, and rotates out. Stage 3, you think that you're finally done with delivering, and you're like, oh, this big old chunky baby finally came out. Well, now you have to deliver your placenta. So your uterus begins to contract again and expels the placenta, which comes out fairly easily, but your placenta is pretty big. With your neonates, so this is newborn infants up to about 1 month old. We do have preterm infants, which are born before the 37th week and weighing about 5 pounds 5 ounces. Both of my girls were 5 pounds 12 ounces, and they were born on the 37th week. So this is just a little chart that shows you our cervical dilation. If you're going into nursing, you will figure this out with how many fingers you can put up there and see how much you're dilated. So for a blueberry, this is about a size of a centimeter. A regular grape is about 2 centimeters. A banana slice is 3 centimeters. A nice mandarin orange is about 5 centimeters. An avocado, which is really gross if they picked a green avocado, for 6 centimeters. Your apple is 8 centimeters and your papaya is your 10 centimeters. So if you can imagine, these are the different stages when the baby is starting to make its way into the world. You can be at about 3 centimeters for several weeks before you actually start to dilate in order to have that baby. So we need to be at a 10 in order to deliver the baby as we need to for a safe delivery. This is why it hurts so bad. All right. With our babies, we have different types of attachment. So attachment is a strong, affectionate bond a child forms with a mother or primary caregiver. So of course, we can't always say mothers because nowadays sometimes the fathers take control of this, grandparents, surrogates, adoption. So we can't always say it's mother, but this is where the bond actually starts to attach. With Harry Harlow, he developed the study with baby monkeys to show their attachments to their mommy monkeys. So he took these baby monkeys from their mothers when they were born, and then he put wire monkeys or cloth monkeys or no mommies at all, and we're able to develop a study to see how our attachment and bond actually is. So with these monkeys, the contact comfort rather than nourishment forms the basis of attachment in the monkeys. So with this video, it will show
Conquest. The search for new knowledge about our universe, our world, and ourselves.
This monkey is an orphan, separated from his mother since the day of his birth. Literally, his life hangs by a thread, a soft cheesecloth pad that is his only companion, his only comfort. Once a day, the pad is removed for cleaning.
This is the laboratory of psychologist Harry Harlow.
Troubled, distressed, Permanently deprived.
He is studying monkeys to better understand human relationships.
He may die for want of love.
Harlow believes he can use science to study love. With a series of pioneering experiments, he explores territory where few scientists have ventured.
Harlow said that there was such a thing as a science of love, for example, that love, the kind of intimacy that characterized relationships between mothers and infants, although in his case he studied monkeys, could be the object of science, that you literally could move love into a laboratory, put it under a microscope.
Harlow is studying love because he believes it makes an indelible impact on a young life. The relationship between a mother and her child, what Harlow calls our earliest social environment, could hold the key to explaining behavior throughout life. Harlow designs a set of ingenious experiments. He raises a baby monkey, allowing it to choose between two surrogate mothers, a wire mother that feeds it, and a cloth mother that doesn't. A cloth mother that Harlow thinks might provide something else: comfort and love.
Here's baby 106, weaned on a wire mother. He's going to the wire mother.
But this infant quickly runs to the cloth mother, where he will stay for the next 18 hours cuddling. In Harlow's mind, choosing nurturing over sustenance. In another experiment, Harlow creates a fearful situation. Whom does the infant turn to now?
Let's find out what his reactions to his mother are when we frighten him. He's scared, all right. And he does what any child will do in a similar situation. He was running to his mother, to touch her, to drive away his fear.
To Harlow, there is something about the experience of comfort and love, even more than food, that seems crucial to all these monkeys. But what happens when the infant is raised alone, without any mother at all, wire or cloth? In this situation, the orphan monkey stays alone. He won't even go to the cloth mother when frightened, but retreats into his own world. Harlow believes he has shown how want of love can damage an infant for life, and he worries the same is true for people.
What comes through loud and clear in Harry Harlow's experiment was that early experience and the environment were crucial to the healthy development of the infant child. And that in a sense, if you messed up, if the right kind of maternal presence was not there during the critical years, then that infant might grow up to be an adult incapable of forming healthy relationships with other kinds of people.
Okay. This is also another reason why we have ethical guidelines to follow, because we probably tortured way too many things in our life. Okay. With infancy, with our different attachment, at 6 to 8 months of age, human infants exhibit separation anxiety, so fear or distress shown when a parent leaves, stranger anxiety. So before this, if we're like, oh, do you want to hold my baby? And they let random people hold your baby, or when they request to hold it, they're usually fine below this age. It's about 6 to 8 months where they start realizing that, oh my gosh, you're not my mama. I don't know you. I don't want you to hold me. Do not touch me. Do not look at me. So this is when your kids start to cry bloody murder because they don't know the person that you just gave them to. We have several different attachments. We have your secure attachment. This is 60% of infants. So the mother caregiver is your secure base for exploring. So just like the baby monkeys, they went to the mom in order to get that comfort and soothing, and then it finally went back out to look at around it, and it wasn't so terrified anymore. They're distressed by separation from the caregivers, but greet them in a happy tone and manner when they return. So this displays better social skills as preschool children, because they have a type of attachment that's going to be healthier for them. We have our avoidant, which is about 20% of infants. So non-responsive to mother or troubled when she leaves. So either they just don't care at all, or they scream bloody murder, and may actively avoid contact with mother after separation. So when you come back to pick up your kid, they're more like, no, and they might hide around the corner. This is not a good type of attachment. Your resistant is 10 to 15% of infants. So this seeks close contact with the mother. They're clinging to bloody murder and they do not want to leave you. They don't tend to branch out and explore their surroundings because they're kind of petrified to leave the mom. And after separation, may display anger towards the mother or caregiver and not easily comforted when they come to pick them up. You have your disorganized, which they don't really care that you're leaving, but then on the other hand, they're kind of upset with you for leaving. They will kick and scream. They might not really like you when you come back. This is about 5 to 10% of infants. This is disorganized and disoriented attachment. So they're really not too sure about the situation that they're going through. Okay, children must acquire language in the first 2 years of life. Otherwise, their ability to learn is very, very impaired. My nephew, Austin, he had ear infections pretty much for the straight 2 years of his poor little baby life. So this happened, they weren't really aware that the cause of the ear infection would actually delay his development. So Austin didn't start talking until he was about 2.5, 3 years old once they put the tubes in his ears. So he was already set behind. So technically he was delayed in his speech and how he was able to contact and request for different things because no one can understand him because he wasn't able to really speak at that point. So it's very important if your child does not start cooing, talking at the appropriate ages that you seek help. So phases of language, you have your cooing, which is repeatedly uttered vowels and sounds. This is your typical baby. You have your babbling, which is 4 to 6 months old. One word stage is about a year old. And then about 2 to 3 years old, they have short sentences. They might have grammatical errors, which is totally understandable and okay. Okay, there's still 3. Okay, how many more do we have? We have about 10 more slides. I'm going to end it off with your language development, and we're going to go into parenting styles. So we're going to be on part 3 after this.